First, we'll meditate on the correct intention, motivation.
Gunlong tanda gunlong de kariku jawrasina da ini ngege da simjin nimatiri ne che rala gadin chewe ini tsedegi da chi pamare nyede dujere togo tomore duzulaya da chi di tsenbe simjin tamjela ya chu pian toba de la pa chilin je budu sirwa chilin je de da pejo simgi 강에 세야다 심기 뒤주야디 세고도스 치고도스 다데 체월랑에 라수수 심기 강에 세마 당 수심이 디마도나 아니 미션을 펜도 치투야면도 제가 디치디 당에 디링기 니마직디 아니 수수 디디자야다 조사야다 텐데기 노존시야다 공자 되야 지금이 세메보네
That correct motivation should be that, in terms of today, thinking on sentient beings who have been kind to oneself, one's parents, relatives, friends, and so forth, how they have benefited you. And in order to repay that kindness, the best way, of course, is to remove negativities in the mind and adopt well-being. But unless you do this for yourself, you cannot do it for others. So then you think, for this day, one will do one's best to, confess, abandon non-virtues, and accumulate merit, study and meditate.
다 가와 검라 가스나다 드린 아니 하나도 니마딜레요 지금 세추 이제 자침부지 퇴버 퇴유 퇴상 검섬 지중하디 겨상부이 좀 가와 검으랬어.
Rejoicing that today we have the opportunity to have met with this Dharma and to be able to hear, reflect and meditate on it is fortunate. Rejoice in that.
다 로즈 니에버카와와 니에버카와 밀류딘 겨발진 다나가란즈 밀류딘디 하장 니에거 겨발랭 가고 싶지래로 뷰다 망고지간에 렐하와야 말해 인디나네 가란즈 류딘디 오늘 다 류딘 겨발진 직차대 가서는 가란즈 류딘디 다 남베기 추 디나네 기신시어나신 대과준비 추와 추제 따탄다 대과준비 추기 에니 지금 유바디 다 체니다 정말 많이 발라던다
오케이
먼저다 배velagwa 냐데 레스라다 배박이 대과 준비 출데 점불링강야다 저 겨울무신다 라마소무신 두즈거린다 네미서 긴두지 되겠다 진대로 densa sung so ju gi gi de su zin de zhe ge ne zin yong ben sum che den de ge chue za shi mo de je wa ba re ane nga ran zo dan da jang zo te de ba yo che ro de wo chu bi shu che de ba yo ane de ba yo za ma se da tu zhe dang ne be zhen che ya de be zhen che wa za ma se ya ko ji tonya ro che du 마 직대셔를 좀 고도
Yeah.
대배 개화상물에 가시 춘 고구면 더 가시 가주시나 고구 말에다디 아니 녀업도 와 최디 최자신 분들 암전은 와 먼저 분구도 와 분구
하고.
미망고 분구 암전나 세로 보나시 차로 분구 세 자좀 하고 뭐라 분구 그때나시 다 전환서 미 분구면 같이 세 미차다 미 세디 세인 뭐 하고 이제 되는 추지 자지 뭐 하고 되니체 somlo당 되어지 신제다 덕분에 그거야고 쉬우지래샤 나랑 류딘 디밀류딘디 오늘 내 된다는데 기타 미 투주 개침부 자침부 아니 류딘하고 그거야고 진대진이샤 당에디 추스면 돼 된다는 거지 지금 삼제 somebody else
One needs to reflect now on the precious human rebirth that we have, that is difficult to get. It is rare. It is rare, isn't it, when you think on the difficulty of obtaining it, because a lot of causes and conditions go behind its fruition. But we have that perfect human rebirth, and within that context, we have met the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha Dharma. Moreover, we have met the Mahayana teachings, as we mentioned. And those teachings exist in their entirety to this day in an unbroken manner, and were preserved in the Tibetan tradition. In that context, in this universe, it was spread and propagated by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and is still held and preserved to this day in the great Seradrapam Gandham, those monasteries. It exists. Okay, so not only that, but you have interest. You have like this zest. You have this interest to be interested in this great vehicle. Secondly, you've put your time and effort into coming here and with that interest. And then thirdly, you can understand it with that interest. You can understand what's being said. Some people hear the Dharma, but they will not understand. There's kind of like, it makes them feel dull, or there's just no interest. There's dullness. That's like, pouring gold in the ear of a donkey. And sometimes the donkey won't recognize that gold is gold, but as humans we can analyze and recognize that gold is gold. So then, really, when you think about it, we got it. Thinking that we have this human rebirth, and with that, the time, we can use it well, understanding in context of the time and the opportunity. So therefore, not to waste it, but to make good use of it. Think on this again and again.
다 당당한 심디. 여기 신시하는 시래 다 심디. 장마소로 심디가 먼저 신경을 빼잖아. 야고도 매도 들어왔다고요는. 아니 사대 당고지 되지 체마당 도당 되지 파세고도. 뭐 디나시 아니 장마소 아니 딜라야 다지 사 추단 류다도 주 창고로. 근데 저는 매도다나 매도 인지 지기도 지나시 맞아. 한다 심나라지 딕딥스나 다 직경기 차다. 심마시와다 심마투와다. 아니 겨우가면 레게 파자 님바 두자 된데 망고 쉬우지 하대요 라면들
Mm-hmm.
다도 저 장마 쓰고 여라 디파 장마 쓰 아니 주의 다지 니중 찬심 양다고 따와 천배네 직 태바레 렌데 이지레 어딘데 상주게 심 상부치야게 심 그릭디게데 윤내디게 주 레고 여라 대제약 체도 안 된켜와지 진켜와지는 된데 가스바와 안 된데게 수수 딥딥 자야당 초소약 체도 아니 제르무친 다 산제 탐제게 따니 인된요 아니 간데 이거 춘진 지든 잠보 공부 토건에 마 아니 간데 하제 군지 토건에 쓰거든
Mm-hmm.
간데 세데 될 책들다 코주저 망부자요
Mm-hmm.
지단 그런 민레들 수수 당경어도 셈나라 아니 직 텐존이가 산제 템바단 제와다 텐데 직자외 라마테 대화요와단 라마 제와단데 대화단 가와지요로 근데 가와 되게 나네스야 되어자던데 요래 간데세 아니 가세 간데세 간데 이거지 간데 하자세 다 민지나게 건 하자 라우레미 만직 계절이미 하자가 제가 말아
Mm-hmm.
네 베미시다 하베망고이와
Mangbo.
최슈니 다신나 대여라시죠 디안 지준 참고 공부 최송대 저거죠 최송야 장 최송대 최고다도 아니 암절로만 코딩 주시고 근데 라제 군기 투가네 라과라 쇼사 본데 춘지세 라과라 수도 신도 걸어서 오라 쇼
Mm-hmm.
쇼난시야 본다데 페르와 라가쇼서 본데 춘지데 근데 timba 춘진세데 timba는 timba 가고 싶어데 네 tim바데 제와 닝지 첨배랑서 임바 삼당으로 다가서 timba 멤버체 닝지 첨보가 막 당로 외로 제로지 용 쉬지 군율로 산다 아니 데레야 네 세단 제와스데 제르무친다 세 제저 좀 무친 지크르로 무친 이에디 제자를 무친 유엔디 개를 무친으로
Mm-hmm.
대천배 아니 단다지 조주 개세단 제가 탐제 제업세송 넘버 임바 창문로 제업세송 넘버 제업세송 찾아면 제일 무친 넘버 임바
Aleo.
근데 제 아니 디웨세디 아마 수수 제일 무친 디 dim바네 토가네 마시 아니 한게 수술로만 트레이딩 싫어
Mm-hmm.
제세송 투간에 주 메시지 트레이디 만나죠 콜라트 메시지 트레이딩 주시
Mm-hmm.
어딘데 지 검시 아스라
Mm-hmm. As I mentioned yesterday, what's important is that we purify our minds, clean our minds. As was mentioned, the analogy of planting a flower, that the flower mature into a beautiful flower, first we need to rid the ground of, for example, rubble, stones and thorns, and then nurture that flower seed with clean water, fertilizer and so forth, so it can mature into a nice flower. In the same way, our minds are full of negativities, the non-virtues, obscurations. Our minds are dull and unclear, but also on our minds we have the imprints from past lives of a lot of these non-virtues. We need to clear them. We need to clear them away so that we become a vessel to cultivate valid states of mind, meaning the renunciation, bodhicitta, and the clear understanding of the lack of intrinsic nature of things, voidness. Cultivate these vehicles. We need to cultivate the path. And once more, at this juncture, we have a perfect human rebirth, which is a good vessel that allows us to do that. And what's more, we have the opportunity to do that. How do we clean away and purify? By confessing on virtues and accumulating merit. Now, in terms of the way that's done, visualizing, as is said in the actual practice, page 9, Ganden Lagyama, the abode of Lama Tsongkhapa. It is the enlightened being Lama Tsongkhapa with the two Gyaltsab on the left and Kejab on the right, page 8 and 9 of the book, was mentioned. So the place where Ganden, where Maitreya Buddha presides and teaches the Dharma, Gandendara, is a place of great joy. So, it is in developing faith and a sense of joy in the qualities of the enlightened beings that are there. So there it says the 100 deities of Tushita. 100 is just like saying plural or many. It's not just 100. There are many, many holy beings and gods that abide there. And here, in this abode, Maitreya Buddha is teaching the Mahayana Dharma, teaching Dharma, whilst abiding there. And then from the heart of the Savior of the 100 deities of Tushita, Maitreya the Protector, on a peak of a cloud resembling a clump of extremely fresh white curd. So the clouds here, white is purity, and the white cloud represents great compassion, that the Dharma teaching is taking place from great compassion. And the aspect of all the holy beings in this pure realm is in the aspect of Lama Tsongkhapa. So then you imagine that with those enlightened beings in the space in front of you, of course, as was mentioned with the two other holy beings to the left and right, the white light comes down from them into your head and pervades your body, speech and mind. Yeah. One should, as is depicted in the picture on page 8, is it? The Gyaltsab is on the left and Kejab is on the right.
Right.
Yeah. But if you're looking, then Gyaltsab is on the right and Kejab is on the left, from your direction.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, not dice. 아니 다디 초신세도 초신세 신어서 초소세 신겨와지는데 이제 요치테 엔디네들아 연라 든지 이거네 면대다 제거네 초사 입장 초사 뒤버장 다 연라 든세야지 자고 든리고 그래서 나도 미질라 강벌라고 정말이나 내가 숙침부 지도로
야
어디다 지버려 유용하게 연라 든바디 차세와 조표와 시작과 지지랑 중국어 능력을 써도 계속 조전도 와서지 이나 든테와 근데 갑디 차세를 보는 양엘레메들 써대와
디스탕보디와
다디 메시지를 가르스나 양엘레메들 다 라마 진진 제사로와 다디 되게 아니 주수 제가 라마 다 들어라니 저 추로치스 네 추추 템바단 로에텐디 추로치스 소다고 그래 소 마다나 야 디자 단다 체면은 다좀바다 자주sem바다 저 심지게 되는 디들 면나 내신달로 심지 된시 제가 필요고라라
오케이
그 내신달로 필요고라 제가 디인디 양엘레 미드에 소와다 오메라 슈고야디 냥가딘데 요레스.
So then what comes now is, as we did yesterday, you petition, you invoke the merit field, you visualize them in the space in front, and the main thing is to think that they are there. They are there, and we do this when we have done this. We practice the 7 limbs, or the mandala, isn't it? And the 7 limbs. So this is in order to, once again, do the twofold confession and merit accumulation practices. And they are called limbs because just as a person with all their faculties, with all their limbs, can accomplish what they set out to do, it is the same way here. With all those limbs we can reach our goal. Now, normally, if we look at the 7 limbs, the first is prostration. on page 10. But here, in this case, the first limb is to request the teachers to remain a long time. And the reason behind this is that you've already invited and invoked the holy beings to come here, but you're requesting them to stay and remain a long time so that the doctrine abides and they teach. Not only that, but if the request is not made, it's like the bodhisattvas and arhats will go to another place. Yeah? So we request them to stay so that all the holy beings stay here and don't leave for another world, another no.
the Sanje Shuzo Tseme Shi Dwa. The Sanje Shuzo, the Jamro Dan Semji Che. Tseme Shi, the Chanju Sem, that Jigero Daya, the third Daya Chedri Cheza. Sanje Shuzo Sarsman Che, and Tseme Shi Dima.
Prior to that, there is refuge in bodhicitta with 4 immeasurables, and the purpose of the 4 immeasurables is to make the bodhicitta vast and stable.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So we should recite this now, beginning on page 5. Yeah, in the Lama Sankappa.
Page 5. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Wisdom. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Wisdom. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Wisdom. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. How wonderful it would be if all
sentient beings were to abide in equanimity,
free from the closeness of attachment
and the distance of hatred. May they abide in equanimity. I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity.
Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to achieve Buddhahood. May they achieve Buddhahood. I myself will cause them to achieve Buddhahood. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. How
wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation.
May they never be separated from these. I myself will cause them never to be separated from these. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this.
That candle is
So recite the first verse with kind of that faith.
Page 9. From the heart of the Saviour of the 100 deities of Shashita, on the peak of a cloud resembling a kind of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dharma, omniscient, Losan Drakpa, please come here together with your sons.
Oh, that the word you're not doing it, young element they were so daughter. Dunji Nanga Sigi depended, Jizolama Juves, Maji, Tala de Vesna, Temba Jiki, Shoes. Dunji Nanga City Pended Ding. Jazan the City Pended Ding, Pema Nima Dawa, Diege, Pema Ge, Nijung Chongo, Nijung, Roa. Nima Ge, Yanda Vetawa, Tony de Vetawa, Dave Chanjuk. Jazan the Shudigana Shungi, Lama de la. Yunde Nijung Chansem Yanda Vetawa Sungi, Toba Yoga de Chandun Roa, Tendeg Lama de. Any Jizun Lama Kivezunga Jense, Jizun Lama da, the Jusum Ji Lamji, da Jambo Javisha Yungore, Kivezunga Jense, the Betuni was shooting Gamgate in Jusro, Lama don't let in Jus membership. Karasanata, around the Pugut and the Yumbe, the Jovangambo, Pamakalama, that didn't imagine Kalyan and Pamagawa Yungorwa. 세상다 대령아도 최지긴이 아니 라마 정가방아들로 와치로 지스다 야 슈구요인자 아니 라마베 가오초네로 가오초면 남바지 달로테베 소나슈지 덴바지게 땅나는 소남 대바지에서 소나슈조도 아니 가서 지 최다 아니 지 똑바다 내 줄대야게 레다 레디타야다 소남사야게 징조도 아니 덴바제와 땅 도와데베시도 깨자네 깨바네 깨베파를 아니 슈로치 어딘데지 삼나다시면 안에 안식제데 먼저 살숨 되어와 인양을 메드서 다같이
So now, the first of the 7 limbs, the request to remain for a long time in the sky before me on a lion throne, lotus, sun, moon. Here, the exemplification of these 3, lotus, sun, and moon, is that it symbolizes that the Lama, the holy being, has realized these 3. The lotus symbolizing uncontrived renunciation or definite emergence, and the sun symbolizing the realization of voidness, and the moon symbolizing the realization of bodhicitta. And then Jetsun Lama, Holy Lord as it were. So therefore, this Jetsun is that one has mastered the 3 capabilities of practitioner: initial capacity, medium capacity, and vast capacity. And then the aspect of the holy being, Lama Tsongkhapa in front of you, is smiling and is pleased with oneself. And that the Guru smiles with delight, because similarly that normally children that are naughty don't listen to the parents, but one day they do listen to the parents' advice, and that really pleases the mother. Similarly, normally we are engaged in non-virtue, but today we have turned our minds to Dharma and are wanting to listen, and this makes the Guru very happy. So the aspect they show is that of a smiling disposition. And then in terms of the fortune we have, having merit and fortune, and with a mind of faith, we can, the merit field, we can practice the twofold purification and merit accumulation, and to that end, please requesting the Guru to remain for kalpas and kalpas, eons and eons. And with that, we should recite this verse 3 times.
어디 아니 소 직전 세회 제라 무슨 슈디 사와지 düğündiler 세다 슈디디 남아정월이야 그 슈디디 남아정월 슈디를 파 팀송 채나네 야오여스.
And having done the threefold requests, one should imagine that one has offered a throne to Lama Tsongkhapa, and at the end of the 3 recitations, Lama Tsongkhapa is very pleased and accepts your offering of the throne, which dissolves into Lama Tsongkhapa.
Oh yeah, that is
Now 3 times we'll do this.
And
In the sky before me.
by perfect pure Guru smiles with delight, as the supreme veil of merit on my mind and faith, please provide for hundreds of eons to spread the teachings. And
In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon.
my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight, as the supreme veil of merit for my mind and faith, please abide for hundreds of eons to spread the teachings. And the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon. my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight, as the supreme veil of merit for my mind and faith, please abide for hundreds of eons to spread the teachings.
Oh yeah, 다디 인라니와디 차체베인라. 차체세데 다조 구베드베 튼레 도여레와 차. 야 구베드. 구베드. 아니 다데라 차체와데라. 류지 차체와다. 나지 차체와다. 이지 차체와스다. 룽아 이숨지코네. 아니 차체와와. 차체와체. 룽아 이숨지 차. 용구요레스로.
The second limb, page 10, is that of prostration, which is really showing reverence or respect. That's what it means. And there are physical prostrations, verbal prostrations, and mental prostrations. prostrations of body, speech, and mind.
다 나나도 차체세 유디 연den식으로 연den 마시는 그거밖에 더 말아. 제단디 아니 신제 중근지와 로드 툭스도 아니 저런 뭐지 김배 연den 시제 아니 이지군의 구배도와데 이기 차 전도 시행을 계산의 유율의 송스제인데 아니 저런 뭐지 아니 배나 송 부디 쪽에 여러 디 계산 나외진 유스도 제단디 데스 계산스도 로마 nen데 개와다 상보 말람야고 텐조 지금이시 저르무진 템바디 제투고요 말에 텐데기 미딜레 나외진디 주로와 에네 저르무진 송디 녀야게 고급 요지 요인자 아니 송이 땅아게 도바자요인데 네 나게 송구 연대 주네 네 나하고네 차세워지 네 타고에베지 하면 제베 구스도 안 저르무진데 다제 직된 추제지 그 방제 꿀려야다 지베 첨베 제오잠지 지 유절이야 당화제야다 텐데지 아니 연대주연도 꿀려 연대주야고네 안류가 예수님께네 구배되거든 아니 딘데기 차세워로 돈도 좀 된데라 차세 통화다 태워다 아니 진짜로 뭐지 에너지 구제와당 송태와당 라마 템바잠지 아니 수술해야지 메제 된데 뭐야 대화제야 딘데기 연대 요인자 안들려야 구배되고 있어 왔다
Without knowing the qualities of the object one is prostrating towards, then that respect and homage of reverence won't have any potency. So we have to understand the Lama. First we are prostrating to the qualities of Lama Tsongkhapa's holy mind, speech and body. Firstly, the mind is omniscient, so we prostrate to that quality of mind, Lama Tsongkhapa's omniscience. And secondly, the speech that Lama Tsongkhapa taught 18 volumes of bundles of Dharma with the holy speech. And fortunate in the sense that without having created the cause and conditions, the teaching of those, or dissemination of those 18 bundles wouldn't fall into your ears. So that opportunity is very precious. We're fortunate to have that. So therefore, when you recite this prayer, then you are prostrating with your speech and showing reverence to that. And then thirdly, prostrating to the physical aspect of Lama Tsongkhapa. Lama Tsongkhapa, gave up the 8 worldly concerns, and as a result of that, is radiant in physical form. So we prostrate to that physical aspect as well. So therefore, to you who are meaningful to see, hear, remember, I prostrate. So just even recalling the Lama like that, with a perfect human rebirth, makes our life meaningful. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So we should do 3 times.
Prostration?
Yeah.
Your holy mind has the intelligence and understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ornament for the ears of those who are children. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory and renown. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Your holy mind has the intelligence and understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ornament for the ears of those of good fortune.
Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory and renown.
To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Your holy mind has the intelligence and understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ornament for the ears of those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory and renown. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate.
Come on, Lord.
Keep reading.
Please in drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lights, scented water, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and minted, I offer to you the supreme field of merit.
Whatever non-virtues of body, speech, and
mind I have collected from beginning this time, especially those opposite to the three vows, I confess each and every one from my heart with fervent regret. You strove to accomplish much herein in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the eight worldly concerns. Say, here we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy groves from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya. Please set fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the earth of those to be subdued, exactly as we need. May
whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings.
And may it especially hold the essence of perfect, pure, no sanctified teachings to shine forever. This ground,
Anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine as the Buddha land, and I offer it. May all transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. May I and all sentient beings speak the teachings of the victorious one, Losangrappa, who live in immanent life endowed with pure morality, a brave heart in doing the Bodhisattva's extensive deeds, and the yoga of the 2 stages of supreme transcendental wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratnamandalakam. By the force of my having fervently requested in this way, from the hearts of the 3,
the perfect pure Father and Sons, hollow beams of white light are emitted, and combining into one enter my crown. White nature, the colour of milk, flows in the opening of the tube of white light, cleansing away all my sicknesses, throat harms, negative karmas, obscurations and indifference without exception. My body becomes pure and clear as crystal.
Chenrezig, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion,
Manjushri, master of sameness wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Songkhapa, crown ornament, the sages of the land of snow, Losangrappa, at your holy feet I make request.
the work out Jeremachin to say work out the Luigi did it has all ten. Sanje Guichin of Toso ten. That the Manesty Gomjani Suji woman by Suzu City Pomani Semje Tamje Gia and Mani Mizimatangi years and Tidagi and Luigi did it. That means say Luigi Nazat in the Yuna. What does a patazo chain? Sanje Guichin of Toso change no Mizimasana Yawoyos.
Here, visualizing that from Lama Tsongkhapa's holy body and the suns come the white light and enters into your body in the form of white light, purifying all of your non-virtues, the physical non-virtues of body, but particularly recall that surrounding you are your kind parents, loved ones, all sentient beings. So similarly, white light enters into their bodies and purifies them. Particularly if you know people that are experiencing any particular sickness, and those sicknesses then become, physical sicknesses become purified, and you and all of the sentient beings actualize the holy body of a Buddha. It is good to reflect like that when saying the mantra.
Sanje Jermuchin Guichin of Topso, change Asra.
Thinking now that one has received the blessings of the holy body of Lama Tsongkhapa.
Tadine was a Mawich Tuner, was a Mawich Tuner. And so soon I get it, and I did among Messiah, and it did Tamje part changing Taje. Nia Sanje Sungichin of Topso, Tenwaris.
Now, visualizing rays of red light, nectar coming down, entering into you, and all of one's non-virtues of speech that we have committed in the past are completely purified, and then one receives the blessings of holy speech of the Buddha, Lama Tsongkhapa.
Oh, yeah, that in Sanje, that Sungichin of Topso change, and this is not Juntama Tizunga Yamashiagi, and then Wachawaji Chungson change. Yahweh.
Think now that one has received the speech, one's speech is blessed with the speech of a fully awakened one of Buddha, and all of your non-virtues of speech, namely lying, harsh speech, divisive speech, gossips and so forth are completely purified. Speech is blessed as a Buddha.
That in it was a Mumbush Tunjera. They were yegging of this degree is not sim. Sim with Chabwe, degree Tamje, changing Taba. We say the Chichigo terminal, we say Mango, Treasure, and the Simje Tamje, Tandanyam, we say true. The Simje Tamje, Yi did Chan. Sanje Tobi Chin Toso Chenguris.
Now visualizing blue light rays of nectar coming down, and this is purifying one's non-virtues, mental non-virtues, non-virtues of mind. They become completely purified. It's not just one stream of blue light going into you, but as many as there are sentient beings existing, that purification takes place, and blessed with the mind of a Buddha.
Simgate, Naxim Nisim Lokdala so the Pachashi Taje. No Sanje Tujugi Chambatan, Zawatan, Ningji Dan, Sherabda, Tindegi, and Nubada Susul Leson, Tenguris.
Now, one's non-virtues of mind, wrong view, intent to harm, covetousness are completely purified, and conversely the qualities of Buddha's holy mind, loving kindness, bodhicitta, compassion and the wisdom are actualized within you.
Oya da ne wese kama tingsun jija de chawara dine ngazo lyunga yisum jija sabe diri chang sanje ji kusung tu chinlap jija de tosong changures.
Now simultaneously the three rays of light together, white, red and blue, stream down simultaneously into you, and specifically you actualize the qualities of Buddha's holy body, speech and mind.
Oya da de shaura.
We'll stop the session here.
Mandala, 20th, page 31.
Eto Pram Kirira